వీరుడు
ఎటు వెళ్ళిపోయింది మనసు కన్నుల్లో నీ రూపమే.
నమస్కారం, పరదేశీ పెద్దమ్మ కథలకు స్వాగతం. ఈ వారం నేను మెల్ని డిస్కస్ చేస్తున్న సినిమా నిన్నే పెళ్లాడతా. 1996 లో వచ్చిన ఈ సినిమా నాగార్జున కెరీర్ లోనే ఒక ఫ్యామిలీ ఓరియంటెడ్ సినిమాల్లో నెంబర్ 1 సినిమాగా చెప్పుకోవచ్చు. అంటే అప్పటి వరకు మాస్ యాక్షన్ వీటికే పరిమితం అయిపోయిన నాగార్జున శివ లాంటి మాస్ యాక్షన్ ఫిల్మ్స్ తో చేశారు. తర్వాత గీతాంజలి లాంటి రొమాంటిక్ ఎంటర్టైన్మెంట్ లో కూడా చేయగలని నిరూపించారు. కానీ ఫ్యామిలీ ఓరియంటెడ్ సినిమాలకు వచ్చేటప్పటికి నాగార్జున కృష్ణ వంశీతో చేసిన ఈ కాంబినేషన్ ఎంత వర్కౌట్ అయిందో మన అందరికి బాగా తెలుసు. సో నిన్నే పెళ్లాడతా మూవీ గురించి మెల్ని ఏమనుకుంటున్నారో ఆమె రివ్యూ ఏంటో తెలుసుకుందాం. హాయ్ మెల్ని.
Hi.
So,
I'm really excited. After we watched Sisindri, and I said, I need a film where Nagarjuna is not just doing an extended cameo.
previously we watched Sisindri in a cameo role, right? Nagarjuna and they both are.
That one was all about the baby, which is okay, but I'm like, so you gave it, and I also said he had did a song with Tabu in that film,
Yeah.
and I was so taken with that and their chemistry together. And so I know you were just thinking, I know exactly what Melanie wants. So this film was delightful. I didn't really read up about it before I started watching. And there's a scene where Nagarjuna takes both his sisters and Tabu out to the movies, and they happen to go see Diwali Dulhania Le Jayenge. And then there's a scene where Tabu rescues a little white dog. And I'm like, so then later I read in the Wikipedia article, they had a long they had a excerpt from an interview with the director Krishna Vamsi,
Yeah.
who said he had seen Hum Apna Hi Kaun and he had seen DDLJ, and he wanted to make a film that had that same feeling but adapted for the Telugu audience. I'm paraphrasing what he said because I was immediately getting the Hum Apna Hi Kaun reference, and just the whole vibe of, you know, the houses and people, you know, having somebody stay and oh, you know, she could be the love interest, or just the whole vibe of the film was very much reminded me of those two favorite Hindi movies. I don't know, Harsh, if I've ever told you, DDLJ is the entire reason that I am so obsessed with Indian cinema. Netflix recommended that film to me because I like romantic films, because I like musicals. And I watched that one and I immediately fell in love with Shah Rukh Khan. And I've seen 58 of his films now. But that's where it all started.
Really?
So when they, you know, I mean, I saw that 8 years ago. Netflix recommended it to me.
Yeah.
And so that was the film that started it all. So the fact that this film was referencing that, I caught it immediately. You know, and just this plot about a family separated because of a love marriage, and then, you know, brothers and a sister estranged. We see this over and over and over in Telugu cinema, right? This is not unusual, but the way that this film is done is so good. I mean, it's just such a good film. I mean, yes, it's a familiar plot, but I'm saying he put in all of these things that reminded me of those two Hindi classics. The white dog, especially, I was just like, yeah, I know where you're going with this white dog. But it was delightful. And also because it's Tabu, I love her so much. Okay, I think she was dubbed through the film, because I saw a note that the voice was SB Sailaja, if I'm pronouncing that correctly.
She's the sister of SP Balasubramaniam, singer.
So yeah, she's a singer, but also she did a lot of voiceover work.
Yeah.
But I mean, Tabu is so expressive, and she's such a fantastic dancer. She really gets to show off her dancing prowess in this film. The music is so delightful in this movie too. Oh, gosh. Anyway, so Nagarjuna himself produced this movie. I think the director, told him, and he was right on board. So it's his production company that made the film. It came out in 1996, which is just 1 year after DDLJ. Like, they got right on that trend. And like I said, within the film, they go to see DDLJ. I mean, there's a whole scene there where Nagarjuna, rescues her from a guy that's harassing her at the movie theater while she's trying to enjoy Sherwood Khan. I mean, I could hear the music from the DDLJ film. Anyway, so the setup is that we're shown the beginning of the film. We're showing why this family feud exists, and then it just so happens, it's funny because we just talked about another film, and so Chandra Mohan has an important role in this film as well. He plays kind of a friend of both families and doesn't realize how he could be such a good friend of these families and not realize there's a feud. I don't know, but he doesn't connect the dots that this young woman who needs a place to stay, so she can do pilot training. Hello, she's going to be one of the first pilot training. Okay, I have to say a little aside. One of the scenes, mostly I totally enjoyed this film, but there was one scene where Tabu has decided she wants to train to be a pilot, but when she gets into her first flight lesson, she totally freaks out, gets afraid with all the loud noises, and runs out of the plane. I'm like, oh, really didn't like that. It's hard to imagine Tabu in real life. I mean, there's this ballad that Nagarjuna is kind of falling in love with Tabu. Yeto Vele Poyendi, that one is so beautiful. And then a really sexy song between the two of them, Kanulu Ne Rupami. I'm sorry, I'm totally mingling those. But yeah, I mean, Tabu just has the sizzling chemistry with Nagarjuna, and just especially in that particular song sequence was really incredible. Really enjoyed that. So, again, we're spoiling a film from 1996, but I saw the ending coming kind of a mile away, like her father threatens to drink poison if she marries Nagarjuna because how dare she want to marry his nephew? But then I just knew she's like, I knew you would. I didn't think you would come for me, and I'm like, oh no, she drank the poison. Oh no. But before that, there was so much slapping. Oh my gosh, Harsha, there was so much slapping in this movie. Like, it was. The director said in that interview note that he wanted a film with less violence. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. Actually, that is something different.
There was a lot of.
This Krishna Vamsi is the student of Ram Gopal Varma actually. So Ram Gopal Varma trying to do a action film with Nagarjuna. So Krishna Vamsi has the same plan. So that's the reason he changed entire his plan. He want to direct a family movie because RGV doesn't like a family movies. So that's the thing. Krishna Vamsi made a family film with Nagarjuna. So this is Ninne Pelladata.
Yeah, right. You're right. It's completely different. It's not all. I mean, it's not that Nagarjuna doesn't punch anybody out. Like, there's one scene where Raji Teja has a small little cameo as a rival that gets punched out, but overall it's really a family drama. There's not a lot of violence in it, except for people getting slapped. Like, how dare you? Okay, and another funny thing is they go to a discotheque. Just this is a funny thing for an American, is that the Macarena is playing, and I don't know if you're familiar with that song, Harsha.
What is the song?
There's a song playing at the disc. It's called the Macarena, and there's a specific dance. Like, I can do it to this day.
Okay.
They still play that at weddings and bar mitzvahs and kids' parties and whatever. It's a song that just everybody knows the dance, and so nobody was doing the dance in the discotheque though. That music was playing in the background. So it was just a funny note for me.
So actually, film music director Sandeep Chauta, He's origin from Ghana, and he had a own company, musical company in Colombia, I think. So that's the reason he completely doing Western music, Western beats. So that's the reason something songs are very different from compared to the Telugu films.
Right. Yeah, I was not expecting the Macarena, but anyway, I just really, I really enjoyed it. It had some other fun little things, like it's 1996, and we had early FaceTime video calls, like showing off how Nagarjuna's family was so wealthy that they had a video call system. He calls Tabu and she doesn't realize she's on video, because it would in 1996. You wouldn't expect that. I also thought just I love those kind of family things where the family knows that these two young people are getting together, and they kind of just watch and watch these two young people kind of fall in love. And that's very much like Hum Apne Hai Kaun, it's just a very similar vibe. And that the whole proposal scene was just so funny, how his family just kind of, forces him to propose. It kind of forces the moment. Just there was a lot of good comedy and good natured humor in this film. It's just for most of it, it's very feel good, and then it has all the angst, at the end, but it ends with a very happy ending. So, I mean, like so many Telugu films, this marriage finally does unite the two families that had been apart for so many years. So it's just, it was just delightful. It won the National Film Award for Telugu films. I can imagine the music was blockbuster soundtrack for this film. And I just really enjoyed the chemistry of Nagarjuna and Tabu together. It's hard for it to me. I mean, Nagarjuna was just so great in this role. He was, he was funny, he was sexy, he was everything, so, and then you had Tabu just being her glorious self.
Yeah.
And Lakshmi played one of the key supporting roles. It was fun to see her in an earlier film too. As one of the mothers. So she was delightful as well.
Previously do you watch any Lakshmi film? I think you watched Oh Baby.
I have seen when she did Oh Baby with Samantha Prabhu.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have seen her in some other supporting roles, but I mean, that's the one where she was just so awesome in recent memory.
Completely great.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you like
Did you so do you have fond memories of this film? Was this a classic that you remembered from your youth?
Actually, 1996 means at that time I have 3 years old.
Well, you could have watched it on TV.
I have 93 born.
Well, it is a classic that's definitely still worth watching. I think it's just a wonderful family film that you could watch with your entire family.
Yeah, thank you so much, Melanie. సో అది అంటే 1996 లో వచ్చిన సినిమా నాగార్జున కెరీర్ లోనే ఫ్యామిలీ ఓరియంటెడ్ సినిమాలు తీయడంలో కృష్ణవంశీ తన మార్క్. అంటే అప్పటి వరకు రామ్ గోపాల్ వర్మ అసిస్టెంట్ డైరెక్టర్ గా చేసిన అనుభవంతో కొన్ని సినిమాలు తీసినా కంప్లీట్లీ మాస్ యాక్షన్ సినిమాలు తీశారు. దీంతో కృష్ణవంశీకి కుటుంబ కథా చిత్రాల దర్శకుడిగా కూడా ఒక మంచి పేరు వచ్చింది. ఆ తర్వాత కాలంలో కూడా ఆయన నుంచి చాలా మంచి కుటుంబ కథా చిత్రాలు వచ్చాయి. సో నాగార్జున కెరీర్ లో, ఇటు టబు కెరీర్ లో, కృష్ణవంశీ కెరీర్ లో కూడా ఇది నిన్నే పెళ్లాడతా సినిమా చాలా మంచి సినిమాగా నిలిచిపోయింది. సో ఇది వారం రివ్యూ. మరో వారం మరో మంచి సినిమాతో మేము ముందు వస్తాం. అంటిల్ దెన్ బాయ్. థ్యాంక్ యూ సో మచ్ మెల్నీ.